Okay, so today we're going to be going over a Dell Inspiron 3521 that does not turn on. Over here we have the schematic, and just some experience on these. I know that we need both our 3 volt and 5 volt rail to get a light on the LEDs. So here's our board. It's a large board. Plug it in, and you see where's our LEDs. Right here. Our LEDs are right here. We get no lights, so we need to check our 3 volt and 5 volt rail. So let's go over to the schematic and let's have a look and see where our 3 volt and 5 volt rails come from. No. Actually, so here's our 3 volt and 5 volt rail circuitry. We have a chip similar to an ISL. I don't know who makes it or what it is, but this is going to come out. It's going to go through a couple MOSFETs, and then we have a coil right here for our 3 volt rail. Is going to be PL200. We could easily find this by looking on the board. Clear as day, right by the edge. It's marked. Where our coil is, it's marked, so we know exactly where it is, unlike some other manufacturers. And then we have our 5 volt rail somewhere around here. It's going to show up. Good luck. I figured you could do that. It's some experience. My experience is a huge accomplishment. I've tried to fix one of these boards before and failed, but this had very clear damage at the 5 volt rail circuit, so I think we'll be able to fix this one. And our 5 volt is going to go through PL201. So let's plug it in. Let's measure for voltage on those rails, and let's see what we get. So plug it in, measure, and let's see, ground heatsink. We get 0 volts and we get 0 volts on both of them. So we have 0 volts. Is it possible we have a short? Let's go to diode mode and let's see. We have a dead short to ground. Dead short to ground on both our 3 volt and our 5 volt rail. So what could the issue be? Could it be our reg? Could it be a cap? Let's just not blindly take stuff off. Let's solder some wires, and let's inject some power and see if anything smokes. Not literally, but you guys know what I mean. Let's see what gets hot. So I'm going to take my ground. Just going to solder this on our ground plane right here. Come on, Hakko, beep. Did you unplug it when measuring short? Yes, I did. Wouldn't matter anyway, it's not getting power. But yes, I did unplug it. I need a fume extractor. There's no power on the 3 volt, 5 volt rail. What difference is it going to make? If you catch what I'm saying. Be careful not to make this touch anything else, but I think it'll be alright. Come on, melt. we go. And now we're going to use Lewis and Jessa's favorite tool. Lewis and Jessa's favorite tool that they think is the most useful thing in the world. Let's turn this thing on, and we will turn our power supply on. And let's see. I don't want more than, just start with about 1 volt. Let's see. And we have burning hot board near our 3 volt and 5 volt chip, but what exactly, can't tell. The whole thing is just getting hot. So let's more current. Let's crank the current up. Can't tell what's coming from the chip. Let's add a little more volts. We're at 1.4 volts, 2.5 volts, and bingo. It is our reg. That's real nice. I don't know, because the only thing that's getting remotely hot is our 3 volt, 5 volt rail, the buck controller IC. It could be that chip. It had milk on it, so yeah, I think that's our issue. Alright, so I don't have another one of those to swap it, but we could take it off and see. I actually have another board with one of those chips good on it, but I can't just take that off of the board without checking before, you know. I can't just, it's not mine to, it's been here for a while, but I can't just steal something off of it. As much as I want to see this thing work, I can't just take something off that board. So now I'm going to take that chip off and see if we still have a short. And then what I might do is, no, that wouldn't be wise. I was gonna say I can power it up on DC and see if it works, but no, that's not gonna be wise. So this is our area that milk hit, and our dot on pin 1. Right, let me clean this area really well. I'm gonna make a note in my mind. Well, I'm going to make a note on the board where the dot was, so when I get the new chip, I won't put it on the wrong way and cause something to go on fire. Since that's already happened once today, I don't want that to happen again. Hey, is that a FLIR? Yes. It is a good FLIR. Well, it's a FLIR i3. And yes, it is a FLIR. Oh yeah, we have a, do we have a crater? No. I don't know. Chip looks pretty healthy, except it, well, it did get milk all around it, so I'll order a new reg. This looks interesting. Almost like I have a, no, it was just something stuck on the board. Hey, I think I see something interesting. It almost looks like when it did short, or when the milk, this whole edge of the chip was all, yeah, I wish you guys could see it, but it had corrosion all over it. It almost looks like it got so hot that it melted the solder right here and might have bridged it to ground. It's interesting. You know what I'm going to actually do is reflow the solder joints, and let's see if it may just. I've seen these 5-volt regs on these Dells be completely corroded, but you lift them, clean them up, or reflow them, and they work. It's just because the So I cleaned up the solder joints where it looked like it might have been, looked like it almost got so hot that it melted the solder and bridged them. Let's see if our short remains. Hey, our short is gone. What do you know? So that chip got so hot that it melted the solder joints and bridged it to ground. Will this work after doing that? No, not possible. Let's see what we're measuring. See if we had any improvement. Since our short is gone, still at 0. Yeah, the buck controller and the FETs I think are gone. I had a MOSFET gate stick on a 5-volt rail and an Acer 2-day. It was a pain. I try and stay away from working on PC laptops. This was for somebody I knew, so I said I'll take a look at it. But yeah, I don't like working on PC laptops. So my diagnosis here is, see, now our short is back. Okay, let's take off that chip and see if our short is gone. Anytime I have a buck controller that shorts, I always want to replace those FETs. I never want to leave these FETs on the board. So take my advice on this. If you ever have a MOSFET controller short, replace all the FETs that the chip controls, because what will happen, you'll replace the chip, then the bad MOSFETs are going to screw up the chip again. Then you'll replace the MOSFETs, and then you'll leave the old chip on. The old chip's going to screw up the new MOSFETs. It gets into this cycle, and I've done it. So take my advice. You got to learn from your mistakes. I think that was the second motherboard I ever fixed that I got into this cycle of, of the PP Bus G3 hot MOSFETs, and I was wondering why won't this work? And I didn't replace the MOSFETs all at once. So I'm going to mark on the board which way the chip goes. I'm going to pull this chip off. Let me dry this alcohol up. Then we're going to lift it and see if our short disappears. I better take a picture just in case. Come on. There we go. I have a picture so I don't put the new chip. Finding the schematics can be fun for some, but yeah, this schematic I got fairly easily. I had it on my computer, so I said, yeah, you know what? I'll take a look. This thing doesn't look too healthy either. You know what? I don't. You know what? There's still corrosion here. I want to give this a good reflow. This looks really bad. This cap. You're gonna go bye-bye anyway. I'm gonna put this right here in case, but so you'd be surprised. A little bit of corrosion can cause a short. Just the corrosion being conductive. PB Henry Dell. It's a Dell Inspiron 3521, some budget laptop. Did we find our short? Yeah, it looks like that maybe that cap was shorted. I think that cap was shorted. Now do we start? And capacitors, optional equipment. I said, well, I never heard of them, Brendan, but I never really paid attention. Measure our 3-volt, 5-volt rails. Let's see what they're at. Three volt and 5-volt. We have both our 3-volt and 5-volt rails back. So that cap was shorted that I took off. We still have no LEDs for some reason. That's weird. We should get LEDs. Alright, let's see if I can find a... Hi, Amy. That's how, yeah. No, this... I sure hope that wasn't what spilled on this. So, me putting my hands on the board made something scream. That's probably not good. Measure again. See, do we still have our 3-volt and 5-volt rails? We're missing our rails again. Why are we missing voltage again? So we have our 3-volt and our 5-volt back. Now why aren't we turning on? Do we need a prompt to turn it on? Why aren't our LEDs lighting up? Nothing. Okay, let's see if this thing turns on now. What's 1219? These had... I'm not sure this has a 12 or 19 volt. I'm pretty sure where's the power aliases on this? It's going to be pretty sure at the end. Power block, DC in input, charger, whatever. 3 volt, 5 volt runs the entire system. So I don't think there is a 12 volt rail, and we have our 3 volt and 5 volt. So we have DC in, and we have all that. So my question now is, let's put this in the case. Not in the case, but let's set the board in, and let's hit the power button and see what the power button does. But no, I'm pretty sure, let me see, I have another one of these exact same boards here. I'm pretty sure it's something supposed to light up. So let me get the other board and let's see if it lights up. If this doesn't light up, then we'll go to our LEDs and see what LED is needed for what. But I'm pretty sure this one does not light up. But this one lights up, I mean. No, it doesn't light up. Cool. So that means this board that I have may actually work. Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice. So let's no 12 volt laptop. Well, no, like on MacBooks they have 12 volt rails. That's PP Bus G3 Hot. I'm sure this Dell does have a 12 volt rail. It's just before the battery, or it's at the battery, then it's converted to 3 volt or 5 volt for system power. So this LVDS connector seems like it's going to be a real pain. I hate LVDS connectors. There we go. No, go back in. Go back in, you're not allowed to come out. There we go. I've got a 12 volt plus 19 volt on. How does that HP even still work? I don't know how that HP still works. It's an HP, it should have died a long time ago. HPs shouldn't last that long, that's crazy. Our board set in. So plug in. Oh, that's for touch screen. I don't need touch screen right now. But fine, we'll plug in. No. Screw touch screen for right now. I just want power button. I think that's in enough to turn on at least. It's working, look at this. Dell. So Tim fixes a checking media fail. Well, it sort of works. this counts as working, right? No boot device found. Please reboot the machine. This is working. There's no hard drive in it, so that was it. That was a shorted capacitor. Now I gotta try and find a capacitor that will work, but I think it'll be just fine without that capacitor there. So on top of that, that is done for right now. Just a shorted capacitor. The drive actually is on my desk, so that's why. The drive is right here, so that's why it's saying no boot disk detected, but it's right there. So it turns on, it's good to go. Just was a shorted cap. I'll try and find a suitable replacement for that tonight and get this one back. It's got to go in the Ultrasonic tomorrow and then get this back to the customer. So thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.